the key right
And
there.
you think he does or does not?
I think he does not.
Okay.
Yes.
DraftKings it's minus 210 that 5 quarterbacks go in the first.
So that's the favorite.
Man, our podium
over
looks
5.
so cool. If you're not watching us, thanks to our friends at Red Savoy Pizza on KFN.com/watch. Wait, can they watch us yet, Zacho? They can? Yeah, you can tune in right now and watch us on KFN.com/watch. Hi, you can check out the mustache. My apologies to everybody involved. But you can watch us. Oh, there's Swedberg and there's Max back there. And look at those. There's Tomers and there's Ben. Hi, Tomers. And there's the Dark Lord. So we're getting ready. The Power Trip mock draft is about to happen. Tomers, any parting shots? Any last things you want to say as you roll on out of here?
Any bets on the over/under for Gopher drafted?
I'll bet with you, buddy.
That's why I brought it up.
Just total drafted.
Yeah.
And
total.
what's the over/under?
2.5.
Want to do 2.5?
Oof.
Or 3.5.
Well, 2 are getting drafted for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
There's 2 no-brainers.
So 2.5 is a pretty good number.
I don't know
then,
any
I
other
guess,
ones,
right?
though, but
what are
you're
you
the
going
Gopher
with there,
guy.
Tomers?
I would go over 2.5, I think.
You think it's 3?
I think.
Drafted, period.
I'm forgetting one guy, and I know I am.
I don't know.
But I think Mo has a chance to come in here.
I'll do $50 with you, just even though I don't know what's going on. You're going to do the over, I'll do the under. How about that?
Perfect. 2.5.
Fantastic. Tomers, I love you.
So,
buddy.
so Hawk has 2 or under. You have 3 or over.
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
I'm cool with that. Hey, good luck today, guys. This is going to be fun to listen to.
You're the best in the whole
Love
wide
you guys.
world.
All right,
I love you,
Theo.
too, brother.
Love you, Tom.
What
Have
happens
fun, guys.
next? The 69th annual Power Trip mock draft. Right after this on the Fan.
KFAN Total Traffic.
From the Quick Trip Traffic Center, here's a look at the roads. We are seeing slowdowns on 35W southbound in Minneapolis between Stinson and Hennepin Avenue due to construction. It takes 25 minutes to get from the Forest Lake split to downtown Minneapolis. Northbound, that trip time is 21 minutes. Northbound 3584 County Road 42, there's a crash on the left shoulder. Another collision near Cedar has already cleared. We have a report of a crash westbound Highway 610 near West Broadway in Brooklyn Park. That's Traffic on the Fan, sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global business, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. copyright 2023.
Let me count the ways you don't have to live with poor vision. At OVO LASIK and Lens. Because OVO is so much more than LASIK. It's a true vision correction center. You, of course, can get LASIK at OVO. I got LASIK over a decade ago. It changed my life. So if you're tired of glasses, contacts, and not being able to see far away, then get LASIK at OVO. Or you could get EVO ICL. If your vision is so bad and you've been told you can have LASIK, you could get EVO at OVO. Implantable contact lenses. You could do a refractive lens exchange at OVO. When you and your eyes get into your 50s and you don't want to wear readers and you want to prevent cataracts, you could get refractive lens exchange at OVO. You could have IOL cataract surgery at OVO. If you or your parents need to have the lens inside your eye replaced, get IOL at OVO. Look, there's so many options. This is why OVO LASIK and Lens is the choice for true vision correction. So it's not just LASIK, it's all your vision correction needs at OVO LASIK and Lens. Visit OVO LASIK and Lens online and learn more about their best LASIK price guarantee and all their vision correction options. It's OVOI.com, OVOEYE.com, OVOI.com, OVO LASIK and Lens.
Fantastic smoothie, Wade. Here's to your health. No better way to rejuvenate the mind, body, and AC. Air conditioner. Pronto can rejuvenate your AC back to original factory fresh settings. For $99. Cool air relaxes the body, and there's peace of mind. Knowing your AC won't break down all summer. Or we'll refund your money and fix it for free. Here's to your AC's health. Schedule your air conditioner rejuvenation today at prontoac.com.
Hey, Rosie here. Have you seen Honda lately? There's been big changes to their award-winning all-star SUV lineup. Honda's SUVs are bigger, bolder, and more beautiful than ever, including the next generation HR-V, the all-new Honda CR-V, and the totally redesigned Honda Pilot, the biggest, most powerful Honda SUV ever. So for the freshest SUVs on the road, see your Greater Twin Cities Honda dealer today.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively. Across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say keyword great results. That's pound 250 and say great results.
Meat sauce here, spring and summer are right around the corner. You know what that means. Hanging out with friends and family and enjoying 7th Avenue Pizza. Pop it in your oven or maybe even on the grill and enjoy. Their frozen pizza will absolutely exceed your expectations. Find 7th Avenue Pizza at Lund's and Byerly's.
What's your favorite diamond shape? Princess cut, pear shape, emerald cut? At Shane Company, we offer both natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds in 10 different shapes. Since 1929, we've been in the diamond business. Because of our multi-generational relationships with ethical diamond sources, we get first pick of their most beautiful diamonds, whether they're from the earth or made in a lab. Come in and see them with your own eyes. Whether you choose a natural diamond or a lab-grown diamond, it will be the highest quality within its grade. Visit us for diamond stud earrings, a diamond for a personalized pendant, or a stunning center stone for your engagement ring in your favorite diamond shape. Whatever you choose, you can be sure your Shane Company diamond will sparkle from across the room and be treasured for a lifetime. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Spring is finally here, and you're ready to hit the road. Make sure your motorcycle is too with Dennis Kirk. No matter what you ride, Harley, Indian, Metric Cruiser, Sport Bike, or Trike, you'll find whatever you need and want at DennisKirk.com with our over 185,000 parts and accessories in stock, including clothing and helmets. Order before 8 p.m. and your order ships the same day. Plus, shipping is free for orders over $89. Gear up and head to DennisKirk.com. We ship today.
At Papa Murphy's, we make delicious pizza.
But I take it. I bake it to perfection, so I make the pizza.
Whatever, Dad. So long as it makes it into my mouth. Right now, get the limited time Taco Grande pizza. Order now at papamurphys.com.
Buy 2 industry best Elements triple pane windows, get 1 free. Buildersandremodelers.com.
The Wild hope to extend their season as they host the Stars tomorrow in Game 6 of the NHL playoffs. Hear it live on iHeartRadio and FM 100.3. KFXN Minneapolis, St. Paul.
The Fan.
This is the Power Trip Mock Draft, presented by Red Savoy Pizza on The Fan.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The waiting is over. It's finally happened. Today is NFL Draft Day. Charge. Today's the day. How excited are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, it's Christmas, isn't it?
It's the best.
It is the best.
Yes, we get to find out all the players we're going to be talking about for the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years. The players are going to shape the destiny of our favorite team. Can't wait.
I cannot wait. And, of course, we want to say thank you right away to our friends at Red Savoy Pizza. The pizza's on its way, gentlemen. We've got a lot of pizza to eat and a lot of NFL to talk, and we have a short time to get there because we have 23 picks to get through. We go over to Meat Sauce Paul Lambert and Corey Cove at the podium and at the main desk to introduce our cast of characters for the 69th annual Power Trip Mock Draft. Corey?
Man, there's a billion people and
Yes,
like
there
5
are. I love it.
microphones. So
I
we're going
love
to be
that,
sharing
man.
microphones,
My
fighting
favorite.
over microphones. We have a new fancy podium this year that looks all official.
It does.
So in the room, of course, former Viking linebacker Ben Lieber. Hi, Benjamin.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Look behind you. Watch out. That's PA. He's right behind you. Be careful.
He's about to tickle you. That's the voice of the Vikings,
Yeah.
Paul Allen.
Yeah, that's right.
To Ben's left is the great Mark Rosen. Hi, Rosie.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm going to stay out of the way, but I do have a general question when the committee allows me to ask one of the so-called pro football experts having to do with quarterbacks. So let me know when it's inappropriate. I just have one question.
Let's
and I'll
go
get
around the room and then we'll
hell
come
out
back
of
to
the
you
way.
before we get started.
That's perfect.
Throw your mic to the left there, Rosie, for a second, because Dave Sinekin's here. What's up?
What's up, boys? Nice to be back.
Look
How
at
are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
End of an era.
Trade this week. Yeah.
End of an era, beginning of a new era in Green Bay.
I'm loving it. That's my new deal. I'm loving it.
You're loving it?
Trademark.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
McDonald's is going to sue you.
Well, I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Bring them on, baby.
Do you guys have McDonald's yet in Wisconsin? Or
I
not?
hear it's
come
coming. It's all
on.
Culver's all the time in Wisconsin.
Oh, I'd love to have some Culvers right now.
The man to my left signs my paychecks. His name is Greg Swedberg. We call him Bossberg.
Hey!
Settle down.
No, Sauce is on a
man
horse
on the-
right now. He rode in on a
I'm riding around the room.
Behind Dave Sinekin, the voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen. Hi, PA.
Hi, Paulie.
Come stand up at the podium for a second and say hi to the people. Hi.
Hi, Paul.
In a second, yeah. Hi, PA. How are you?
What's going on there, Coco?
I don't know.
Hi, Paulie. How you doing, buddy boy?
What's up there, see?
Man, I love your hair these days, buddy. You're looking good, man.
What about the other days? You didn't like it then?
I like this more. How about that?
Thank you.
You like my mustache?
I like you every day. Just makes me want to bounce up and down with joy.
Okay.
Okay, buddy boy.
Okay.
Unbelievable. He's on fire already.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll never forget it.
Is
It'll
it my
never be
turn?
forgotten.
Not yet.
Not quite yet, buddy boy.
Eric Nordquist, also 9 to noon. Nordo's here. I saw Nordo and Sauce last night doing a big draft special on Twitter. Thanks to our friends at Red Savoy as well. Hi, Nordo. How are you?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Nordo's super jacked.
Man, I love it when we have everybody in the room like this. I just do. I just love it.
Paul Charchian, you're back
Look
there.
at
Hi,
you.
Charch.
Hey, everybody. I am here.
What's new with you?
Well, I mean, I did hard time for 2 months.
Yeah, you
Fantastic.
sure did. Yeah,
Yeah.
you sure did. And you know what? I still think you were not guilty.
Me too. That's
Yeah,
what my lawyer said.
Absolutely.
I didn't
for
think
sure.
the photos were that obscene. The man behind Chris Hockey is Max. He'll select for the Titans. The Titans
Yeah.
at pick 11.
That's right.
And Zach Halverson's running the show back there with the cool stream, because you can watch all of this on all of the KFAN social media channels.
Yeah, if you got a cool stream, you need to go to the doctor. Rosie, before we get this whole thing started, I know you have a question about quarterbacks
I
for
do.
our illustrious panel.
Well, since Mr. Lieber's sitting right next to me and actually has a microphone in front of him, I'll direct this question to him. With all the conversation naturally tonight about all the quarterbacks, who's going to go first, second, third, fourth, and all of them are out there breaking them down 100 different ways. Did the mindset of some of these teams change because of the success of Brock Purdy last year? The last player selected in the draft, no one, Mr. Irrelevant, he comes out of nowhere, leads the 49ers almost to the promised land until he got hurt. And because of the fact that no one really paid attention to him, does it make teams look at other quarterbacks like, we don't have to have one of those guys to still have, and I'm thinking of the Vikings, to get a quarterback in the later rounds that we think we could develop into a pretty good player, because he was the biggest surprise, I would say, out of any player last year, out of nowhere.
I'll put it this way. Nobody knew what the S2 cognitive test was until Brock Purdy's came out.
Seriously?
That's true.
I mean, when it comes to mainstream across the board, nobody was talking about the S2 test last year. It's been developed for the last few years, and thousands of players have taken it, but it was never really mainstream. So then all of a sudden they're like, what? Everybody's asking, what's the separation? How is this missed? And the guys at S2 are like, we didn't miss it. We saw this guy test off the charts.
But he was still the last player selected. People
Right.
but teams
the
were
thing
not
is,
influenced by that.
So you have to pair that with pretty good college tape.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, he was
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good at Iowa State. And
right.
So you have to, I think, sometimes break down those preconceived notions of like height, weight, arm strength, all that stuff, and maybe look at some of the processing stuff a little bit more. And you have to pair it with what sort of offense is he going to play in the NFL? I think that's the biggest part.
Sure.
Is he a Norv Turner style quarterback? No.
Mm-hmm.
If he was drafted by a guy that is a drop back 5-7 step, chuck it down the field,
would have had that success.
Then everybody was like, "Who is this guy?" This is why we didn't think that he was the last player in the draft. I think he goes to the right situation for the right offense, and he tested off the.
Are there quarterbacks in the draft that'll this year's draft they kind of fit that mode?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you guys ready to get started or what?
Let's go.
69th annual Power Trip Mock Draft. Making the first selection in the Power Trip Mock Draft for the Carolina Panthers. It was the Bears, but they traded out. The Panthers moved up. Paul Allen makes the selection. Hi, PA.
Good morning. The Carolina Panthers with the first pick take Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama. What got us over the hump was draft analyst Marty Wexler. And what was said on Bumper to Bumper yesterday about the testicular fortitude of certain players, but specifically Bryce Young. The circumference of the scrotum is as good as we've seen we've handled over years. So
okay,
and then the actual testicle size, according to Marty Wexler, we followed his chart. It vetted out very nicely. That's one way to put it. So Young, Thielen, touchdown, go Kitties.
Okay,
fantastic.
Interesting.
There you go. Any comments on testicles, Charge?
I got a lot of comment. Can we just skip the rest of the draft? Can we spend 23 picks on testicles if that's okay?
Sure, that's the plan.
Yeah.
That's a standard Thursday Power Trip morning show, to be honest.
That's normally what we do.
That's what. Yeah. With the second pick in the Power Trip mock draft, Bossberg with the Houston Texans, the spot that a lot of people think is the pivotal spot in the top 10. What are the Texans going to do? Here's Bossberg to tell us all.
Okay, so logically you would pick Will Anderson here because he's the best defensive player in the draft.
Get in there close to the mic.
Yeah, you got to get. Yeah,
it's
you got to get this closer. That mic.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what we do here.
Okay. Well, I'm not on the radio here, Rosie. Lost it around. The logical pick here is Will Anderson because he's the best defensive player in the draft. But everybody in the world, including money in Vegas, says they're not going to do that. That D'Amico Ryans likes another defensive end better. So, because you guys asked me to predict what's going to happen and not what should happen, we'll take Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech.
Tyree Wilson.
Wow.
Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech.
Ben, what do you know about him?
I mean, he fits the prototypical size and all that stuff. I think that he's still a project. It's fascinating that we will give graces and leniency to other players at other positions about being a project. He didn't come from a high pedigree defense at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, even with or without, who am I thinking of? Arizona quarterback or coach, no longer there. Kingsbury. Even without Kingsbury's leadership, that defense has never been great. So you're a really, really good player with a lot of promise on a bad defense. I don't know. I look at this situation. I'll go back to Hockey and I's conversation. I know that you have a pick later on in the draft that's coming up at number 12. Just take C.J. Stroud. I don't know. I don't think that you have to overthink this. You need a quarterback. Davis Mills is not your guy. Go with the quarterback and just keep it safe.
Charge?
Totally agree. I would take quarterback here, and you're still going to get a great defensive player at pick 12, and you don't want to find yourself at the top of the draft. Quarterback's the most important position on the team, obviously, and you've got a potential solve at 2, and I wouldn't like the Tyree Wilson pick if it comes here.
This has a 6-year deal. He's going to be around for a while. They don't have to pounce on a quarterback. They're going to be terrible. Next year, Caleb Williams is graded as a much better quarterback prospect than anybody in this draft. They're taking for Caleb. They're going to wait, get their quarterback next year, and just pick at the litter. He might be the best prospect at quarterback the last 5-6 years.
Wow.
I agree with all of it.
Oh, okay.
I just think that I agree with you, Dave. I think that they know that they're going to be a top 5 team again. They're awful. They don't have a good player at any position except maybe corner Derek Stingley Jr., who was just okay last year. They are a terrible team, and they're going to be picking in the top 3 next year.
Fantastic.
Pick number 3 goes to the Arizona Cardinals, and 9 to noon's Eric Nordquist. Hi, Nordo.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. This is awesome. 69th annual draft in the Power Trip. I'm going to take Will Anderson. The Arizona Cardinals have an awful defense. J.J. Watt walks out the door with 12.5 sacks. Not that Byron Murphy is the greatest corner in the history of the world. They could potentially want to go corner. They'll try to trade back. I'm surprised Swedberg didn't trade out of 2. But since Arizona was unable to do that, they're going to settle for Will Anderson, the outside linebacker / edge rusher from Alabama.
DraftKings has the favorite as Paris Johnson Jr. at plus 200, just slightly ahead of the name that Nordo just said at plus 240, Will Anderson.
He's an offensive tackle from Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would disagree with this pick. If they stay at 3, then you take the next best available guy for your biggest need, and that's Will Anderson.
Charge?
The Cardinals have drafted almost entirely defensive players for 3 straight years, and it's cost their offense a lot. The offensive line is in shambles, led the league in penalties, and it's a bad line. And I think they will go offensive line here, and I think Paris Johnson, is going to ultimately be the pick.
Okay. Pick number 4. One of his rivals. He likes the Titans, but here's the Colts and Max.
The Colts, they've had a couple of stallions over there at quarterback over the last couple of decades with Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning. But recently you would have thought maybe they lost the Charge Challenge because there's been some donkeys under center down there at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well played.
Head coach Shane Steichen, he used to be the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, so he has experience with a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, a dual threat kind of guy. But he was also the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. He's got experience with Phillip Rivers, Justin Herbert, and more like traditional drop back QBs. They could double down and get the dual threat going with Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor. But I think they're going to go for the more downfield option, diversify their offense, and help their weak wide receiver crew better. So I think the Colts find their new workhorse in Kentucky quarterback Will Levis.
Will Levis.
Whoa.
DraftKings,
Wow. All right.
DraftKings has Will Levis and C.J. Stroud at exactly the same odds at plus 115, and then Anthony Richardson right behind him at plus 350. So the consensus is that quarterback will be the pick if the Colts stay at 4, Ben.
Yeah, again, I've talked about C.J. Stroud more in the last hour than I think I ever have. I think between the two, I think Stroud is the better quarterback and maybe still has as high of a ceiling as Will Levis. Look, it's what do you like? I mean, you want, Will Levis is a stouter, bigger quarterback that can, maybe more durable. He's got probably the bigger arm, but you're splitting hairs here. Whatever. I mean, I like Stroud better than Levis, but they might see it the other way around.
Charge.
I also like Stroud better, and heck, I would go Anthony Richardson. I'd roll the dice there if I wanted to before I would go Will Levis, but they might. The Levis steam seems to be very real, that he could move its way into the top 4. So, yeah, it's certainly possible that Will Levis is going to be the right pick here. It's not the pick I would make.
Pick 5 goes to the Seattle Seahawks and the biggest Jordan Love fan on the planet, Dave Sinekin.
Well, if Love were in this draft, he'd go here for sure because he's an amazing prospect. Seahawks are really stuck now because they've done a lot of due diligence on the quarterbacks. They don't expect to pick in the top 5 very often. This is Denver's pick from the Russell Wilson trade. Did not expect C.J. Stroud to be on the board. But, Pete Carroll's in his 70s. They're a playoff team. They've watched Christian McCaffrey run over them and through them, and they know to get to the Super Bowl or get beyond the first round, they got to get past San Francisco. They're going to take the biggest run stopper in this draft. He's got some concerns, but since one of the Seahawks never been concerned about character issues, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia, run stuffer, becomes immediately the face of this new-look Seahawks defense, and Christian McCaffrey, best of luck to you.
He is the heaviest favorite outside of Bryce Young in the top 5, minus 250 to go 5th. So Dave, I think, just nailed it statistically, at least minus 250 out of Jalen Carter. Ben, we'll start with you. The Geno Smith era, though, right? They re-signed him. They gave him a lot of money. Should the Seahawks draft somebody like C.J. Stroud, or are you cool with them keeping Geno Smith?
No, I think I'm cool with this situation, keeping Geno Smith, and I agree with Cindy. I think, all this Jalen Carter stuff, look, man, he could be one of these guys that just wrecks the league for the next 12 years or 10 years. So I've always been a big believer that you beef up your defensive line. Every time that the Vikings get their butts kicked, it's usually because, hey, we couldn't stop their defensive line. We couldn't stop these two guys on the interior defensive line. I think he's going to be a stud, and, I think it's a great pick.
Charge.
Don't have any problem with taking Jalen Carter for Seattle, but the Geno Smith deal is really a 1-year deal. They spread the money out over 3 years, but it's really a 1-year deal. And, that gives you the luxury of taking an Anthony Richardson right here and let him learn from the bench and learn from a veteran like Geno Smith for a year and set yourself up at the hardest to fill position. So, and Seattle doesn't want to find it. Well, they find themselves way up here at pick number 5 thanks to their deal with Denver, Russell Wilson. This isn't going to be the case very often for Seattle to be this high. Go get your quarterback while you can.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to the 69th Annual Power Trip Mock Draft, brought to you by Red Savoy Pizza. You can watch us on KFN.com/watch right now. Charts is right there, you can see. And Roser's over there. He's doing research right now. I know you've said many a time, Mark Rosen, that you are not a fan of Geno Smith at quarterback for Seattle. What's the problem with Geno Smith?
Pete Carroll's managed to make something out of nothing. Geno's actually playing pretty well. I didn't say that at all about Geno Smith, but that's okay.
Just trying to get you involved.
Yeah, I know. I think Pete's become kind of a dinosaur in his business, along with Belichick, and but he still has that enthusiasm, and I like the pick a lot. I think they're definitely going to go defense.
Yeah, and the good part about Carter going here is it keeps him out of the our division.
Correct.
Because the next two most logical places are Chicago and Detroit.
You got it.
Right.
Speaking of Detroit, pick number 6, the Detroit Lions and Sauce.
Bossberg's right. Us as the Lions would have run to the podium had Jalen Carter slip past the Seahawks at 5. The secondary is pretty banged up with the Lions, and we're just simply going to take the best cornerback available. That is Devin Witherspoon the Illinois cornerback, who is an absolute stud and will be probably their number one corner next season. And then maybe we'll come back with another defensive player at 18, but we will take Devin Witherspoon, the quarterback out of cornerback, out of Illinois.
Minus 130 on DraftKings, so that is also the favorite to go sixth to the Lions. Ben.
Well, I'm just happy that, and it was just mentioned, I'm just happy that Jalen Carter was not available here at number 6 for the Lions, because I certainly don't want to see that guy twice a year for a long time. Look, Witherspoon, it seems like a home run. Christian Gonzalez from Oregon seems like a home run as well. They do need that position, and you can never have too many high end caliber cornerbacks. So yeah, I think it's a solid pick.
Hey, Charge.
Yeah.
What is the percent chance tonight in reality the Vikings have already picked by right now?
3% chance.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Okay. All right.
Don't have the horses to get that high.
Okay.
But the probability goes up if C.J. Stroud continues to fall. The probability does go up with every one of these picks.
Exciting, man. I'll tell you guys, I'd be so excited if he was our quarterback. I couldn't even tell you.
Sweet.
It'd be the best ever.
Are we making Charch walk all the way over to the podium and changing studios to make a selection?
God, I hope not.
Come on, we need you to First of all, I like to watch you go. Even though I hate to see you leave, if you know what I mean.
I do.
And second of all, it's the podium, man. You got to go.
Yeah, my leg fell asleep.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. With the 7th pick, the Las Vegas Raiders.
I am second-year Raiders general manager Dave Ziegler. Prior to arriving in Las Vegas, I was the player personnel executive for the Patriots, a key executive behind some of the worst drafts in NFL history. The team needs for the Raiders is really a list so long, the Chiefs would be on the clock by the time I was done explaining them all. So we're really sitting in a best player available position for the Raiders. And for us, that is going to be cornerback Christian Gonzalez from Oregon will be our selection. We have needs everywhere, as I mentioned, but it's a passing league, and we got to face the amazing passing abilities of the AFC West quarterbacks. So we got to address it one way or another. We're going to start at cornerback, Christian Gonzalez.
That is the favorite on DraftKings at plus 250 to go 7th. Ben, what do you know about Christian Gonzalez?
Well, like I said, I think it is a toss-up between the two. If whoever you like, Witherspoon or Gonzalez, are both high-end cornerbacks. I like the pick, but I was going to ask you, Charge, if Stroud is there, which he is in this particular mock, why not Stroud in this situation and just solidify that position, even though that you've got your guy that you're very comfortable with, but look, he's probably not the future.
Jimmy Garoppolo's not the future for sure, and I think the slide continues to happen for C.J. Stroud here. I think Gonzalez is the favorite to go to the Raiders, but if Stroud's available, you got to give it a lot of serious thought because Garoppolo is just a caretaker, and Stroud would make a ton of sense here too.
Speaking of Stroud, remember when the Bears were number 1 and they were talking about whether or not Justin Fields should be the quarterback? And I think didn't C.J. Stroud come out and be like, "Hey, the Bears that's Justin's team. I'm not going to snipe him." What if he's still on the board at 9 and the Bears have to make the 9th overall selection with C.J. Stroud still on the board? They trade down from 1 to 9 and have a crack at a guy that 2 months ago looked like they might have had to take him at number 1.
Oof.
Number 8, Benjamin Lieber and the Atlanta Falcons.
Look, man, I mean, you put me in a crazy situation with Desmond Ridder as a quarterback, and you've got C.J. Stroud on the board. I don't think that it's not even close, between the talent between the two. In a likely scenario, what's going to happen tonight, if Stroud's not on the board and it falls the way it has, I would take Bijan Robinson here for the Falcons. But considering that Stroud's on the board, I don't care if you create a quarterback controversy or not. I would take C.J. Stroud here with the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
So you're taking Stroud.
There he goes. 6'3", 218.
So as explosive as Bijan Robinson apparently is, I've never seen him play. Does it make sense for a team that looks like they have no future the next couple of years to take a running back in the top 10? Because he is the favorite, plus 150 on DraftKings. But why would the Falcons want to build with a running back before they have a quarterback? Because by the time they might have a team in place, now you got to pay Bijan Robinson at like 26 years old a ton of money.
Look, I don't know. They must like Ridder more than I like Ridder. I'm not comfortable with him. So I think that they are still in play for a quarterback, even though everybody's saying otherwise, even if Stroud isn't there. So I don't know why. Charge, your thoughts on that?
I'd go quarterback 100%.
Yeah.
You know, Desmond Ritter is just a guy. I do not see him looking like the long-term solution. And if CJ Stroud is there, done, over, end of conversation.
When we come back, Sauce is on the clock with the Chicago Bears. We've gone through 8 picks in the Power Trip mock draft. We'll wrap it up at the end of the show. It's probably going to take us the next hour, but why not? We got nothing else to do. Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.
This is the Power Trip mock draft, presented by Red Savoy Pizza on the Fan.
KFAN Total Traffic.
From the Quick Trip Traffic Center, here's a look at the roads. In the East Metro, there's a crash, 694 southbound on the exit to Stillwater Boulevard. The left shoulder is blocked on the ramp. Minneapolis traffic's getting heavier now. Eastbound 394 has delays from 10 to 94. You'll lose 4 or 5 minutes there. Eastbound 94, your stop and go. 394 to Lindale, and westbound traffic's also heavy in the area. Traffic slow on northbound Highway 52 in St. Paul, approaching 94. That's Traffic on the Fan, sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. The cash back for trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
It is the Luther Tire event this month, and it turns out the best place to buy a car is also the best place to buy tires. If you need tires, don't wait any longer because the month's almost over. It's April 27th. The clock is ticking away, which means if you want that $100 Luther gift card, you got to buy 4 tires in the next handful of days. Because if you buy 4 tires throughout the entire month of April, you get free lifetime tire rotations, great everyday low Luther pricing, a great selection of tires. But again, ultimately, you're there for that $100 Luther gift card. So peace of mind by getting new tires. That'll make you feel good, especially if you know you need new tires because they look like they're falling apart. New tires and a $100 Luther gift card and A+ customer service. So if you know where the locations are, because they're all over the place, there's over 40, get in there today and buy some tires. If you don't know much about tires, that's not a problem either. I don't either, but I've gone through this process in the past. It's a piece of cake. I got the $100 Luther gift card and my wife got new tires. It's awesome. Luther and LutherAuto.com.
In this week's Marketers Report, Chris Brandt, Chief Marketing Officer at Chipotle Mexican Grill, weighs in on the power of audio.
We've used audio to reinforce what we're showing on TV, what we're showing in other digital channels. When your priority is driving reach, boy, everybody seems to listen to the radio.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
I'm Angela Warner for Warner Stellium. Sometimes appliances break. Other times you spend years wishing they would. We get it. That's why right now we're paying you to upgrade with our trade-in sale. We'll pay you $50 for each appliance you replace. Our in-store specialists take out the guesswork of wondering what's the best one and which one will fit. Then Warner Stellium professional crews will deliver, install, and take your old stuff away, saving you time and money. So outsource your stress and shop family-owned Warner Stellium.
Look, I've been talking about spring cleaning in Zero Res for the last handful of weeks. I hope you're up in the middle of your spring cleaning plan, and I'm asking you to put Zero Res as a part of that plan. But now they want to make the deal even better because part of their spring flash sale, if you call 952 Zero Res right now and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned the Zero Res way, not only will they give you 3 rooms for $129, but they'll also throw in a free hallway. So if you want the carpet in your home to look, smell, and feel like it's brand new and have it done the right way, then the only way to go is 952 Zero Res or online at zeroresminnesota.com and just ask for the KFAN special. That'll get you the 3 rooms for $129 and the free hallway. And that's at your home, your cabin, your business. What do you need clean this spring? They can basically do your entire home top to bottom, whether it's air duct systems, carpet, rugs, upholstery, tile. Find all of their services online at zeroresminnesota.com. Ask for that KFAN special. Call 952 Zero Res. Be a part of this spring flash sale at 952 Zero Res.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship. minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Fantastic smoothie, Wade. Here's to your health. No better way to rejuvenate the mind, body, and AC. Air conditioner. Pronto can rejuvenate your AC back to original factory fresh settings. For $99. Cool air relaxes the body, and there's peace of mind. Knowing your AC won't break down all summer. Or we'll refund your money and fix it for free. Here's to your AC's health. Schedule your air conditioner rejuvenation today at prontoac.com.
Spring is here, and great deals are in bloom at Park Chrysler Jeep in Burnsville. Now, during the Jeep Celebration event, save on popular Jeep models, like the new 23 Jeep Renegade Limited. Lease for as low as $415 a month. Or take home a 23 Jeep Compass Limited. Leases start at just $398 a month. Or save on the new Jeep Grand Cherokee L Altitude. The room you need for a lease starting at just $498 a month. Check out all the great deals that are popping up now during the Jeep Celebration event, only at Park Chrysler Jeep in Burnsville. Online at parkjeep.com.
You'll be surprised by the size and quality of diamond you can afford at Arthur's in Roseville. You always get more at Arthur's Jewelers.
From the Evans Transportation Weather Center.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You'd do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Fan forecast.
Partly sunny, chance of showers today with a high of 69.
Back to the Power Trip Mock Draft on KFAN. Presented by Red Savoy Pizza.
That's right. The collective brain trust. Arguing during the break. Knives out.
Eating pizza.
Eating Red Savoy pizza. By the way, if you haven't tried the barbecue chicken pizza, holy moly. It's the 69th annual Power Trip Mock Draft. We are 8 picks into it. Obviously, we'll go all the way to 23 when the Vikings pick. As we get towards the middle of the like the 15-16 area, we'll speed it up a little bit so we make sure we get everything in. But for right now, everything's going swimmingly. And of course, the man who considers today basically Christmas Day is on the clock right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Meat Sauce Paul Lambert.
Well, Sauce, on that note, who's more important to you, Jesus on Christmas or Mel Kiper today?
Trick question. Mel Kiper is Jesus.
Sauce has the 9th pick. The Chicago Bears traded back from 1 to 9. They got a haul from the Carolina Panthers. It looks like they're going to stay with Justin Fields at quarterback. What do you do with number 9, Sauce?
Their offensive line is terrible. I think they had a 5th-round pick starting at left tackle. I couldn't name one guy on the offensive line for the Bears. It's very bad. And if you are going to trade back from the first overall pick where you could have taken a quarterback and you believe in Justin Fields, we are going to stay here and we are going to take Peter Skoronski, the inside lineman or tackle. He can play any position on the offensive line, and that's who we're going to take.
Ben.
It makes the most sense. He stays right there from Northwestern. This goes right to the Chicago Bears. Only gave up five sacks in his 3 years starting and 3 years playing at Northwestern. I think he and Paris Johnson the most natural left tackle. Not the greatest run blocker, but I think when it comes to athleticism, pass protection, and protecting that blind side, he's the guy.
Before we get to Church, let's go to Sinekin.
Well, quickly, his grandpa is a Packer Hall of Famer. He grew up a huge Packer fan, so for him to go to the Bears, I think would be sweet irony. The Bears are already giddy that their owner, Aaron Rodgers, has now moved to New York. So they're already feeling great. And now they get a Packer grandson. So this is lining up really well for Chicago.
Church.
Offensive line was the right way. I'd have gone Paris Johnson, the best pure tackle in the draft, before I'd have gone Peter Skoronski. But I have no problem with this. If they want to see for sure what they've got in Justin Fields. They've already gave him DJ Moore, so he's got a very good receiver. You just gotta help that offensive line. No team absorbed more sacks than the Bears and Justin Fields. 55 sacks last year.
On DraftKings, the favorite is Darnell Wright to go at plus 225, and they have Paris Johnson Jr. slightly ahead of Peter Skoronski.
Darnell Wright is mostly a right tackle at Tennessee, but he can play both left or right tackle.
All right, so then overwhelmingly, though, they think Chicago's going offensive line. Eagles at number 10, Ben Lieber.
Well, I'm just super jacked that this player is still on the board, and that's really not a huge surprise. He will probably be there, and this actually is a position where I actually think that they could trade out of this number 10 position if they really wanted to. Look, they lost Miles Sanders but picked up Rashad Penny. That's still not enough. I'm taking Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson goes 10th.
That's a running back junior out of Texas, Charge.
The only reason not to take Bijan Robinson here for Philadelphia is they've got pick 31, and you could get Jahmyr Gibbs, who's awesome at pick 31. And so, it makes a ton of sense for a team that moved on from Miles Sanders to go Bijan Robinson here. But I just think the depth at the position makes it a little less obvious that they will here when they could get a great running back later in this draft.
We'll have PA select for the Vikings because he loves the Vikings at pick 23. But Max loves the Tennessee Titans more than anybody I've ever met in my life. Here's Max with pick 11.
After starting the season 7-3, the Titans quickly turned into the Titanics last season, sinking in horrible fashion, losing their last 7 straight and missing the playoffs. So they made some big personnel changes on and off the field. Hired a new GM, Rand Carthon, who sounds like a politician from the Star Wars universe. They also hired offensive coordinator Tim Kelly, who said in an interview recently he wants the offense to be more versatile. And when you consistently rank as one of the worst throwing teams in the league, more versatile means expanding the pass game. Ryan Tannehill is super inconsistent. Malik Willis seems like more of a project than they originally expected, and that's why I think they're going to avoid a player like Anthony Richardson, who, much like Willis, he clearly has a lot of talent, but he needs a little bit of work. So I think the Titans go with someone with a little more experience and is more ready on day one. So I think they keep it in state and go with Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker.
Ben, earlier you thought he might even be available in round 2. Your thoughts of Hooker going 11th?
Wow, you really surprised me. Like I said, I could make the argument that those 3 quarterbacks that we mentioned, Levis, Richardson, and Hooker, they all could be second-round grades. It's a matter of need for a lot of these teams that might elevate them and make these teams want to pick them in the first round and get that 5th-year option. Look, I've liked Hooker. I think that he of those 3 guys is the best guy to play right now. But I think those other guys have higher ceilings than Hooker. I also think that the Titans need offensive line help. And, this is a situation where with Skoronski going, I think Paris Johnson makes a lot of sense as well. You create a huge quarterback issue. You probably have to move one of those 2 guys later in this draft if you're going to draft Hooker. But I like Hooker. I might have looked at offensive line instead.
You know who I like? I like Max.
Me too.
You know what I don't like? I don't like Max's pick. This is not happening. Hendon Hooker is not going to Tennessee. They need offensive line help so badly. And we know what the Titans are all about. It's bullying people on the offensive line and trying to spring these big lanes for Derrick Henry or whoever succeeds Derrick Henry. And their offensive line is horrible. Absolutely brutal. And they're looking at arguably the best offensive lineman is still on the table in Paris Johnson. That would be the pick here.
Does anybody here think, though, that Hooker does go before Anthony Richardson? Just in general, not necessarily to the Titans. Does Hooker go before Richardson? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Texans, number 12, Bossberg.
First of all, how good is Max? He's got this all written out. He's got pages.
He's got it all figured out.
Oh, yeah. He's got
I got
but
little
still.
scribbles on my page. So
Yep.
that's. So we're sitting here at 12, and I've been listening to Nordo and Sauce all week, and they tell me the Vikings are interested in moving up. And I'm the Houston Texans. I already made 1 pick. I really am not playing for this year. I'm playing for next year. I'd kind of like to have a number 1 pick next year. So you're the Vikings. You want this pick? You can get your quarterback. You can get Richardson here. Probably won't be around much longer. So why don't you, Vikings, give me 23, your next year's number 1, your 3rd rounder this year, and Danielle Hunter.
What?
You can
Wow.
have this pick.
No way.
Hunter's not going to sign. The Vikings can't afford him. I mean, check the numbers. It's good luck getting Danielle Hunter in a contract. So you want to do that? So you're the guy who wanted the quarterback here.
Number one pick next year.
Yeah, damn right.
If you're at pick 23 and this is how it laid out, and Anthony Richardson, let's just say Anthony Richardson is their guy, you could give up 23 next year's first and pick probably 87. We saw the Bears go.
More than that.
No, that's too much. We would say no. It's going to be a first. If Anthony Richardson is there at 12 and that's their guy, this would be the jumping point.
You give me a number 2 next year. Give me your 1 and your 2 next year, along with your 23 this year.
Yeah, if we keep 87, we'll give you 1 and 2 next year to move up. Yeah.
Can you give me an extra hour show?
Yeah,
because
can we make use of
considering that was just I was throwing out as a talk here because I heard Austin Nordo saying they're going to trade up, and that's realistically what you have to give up to do it. We don't want a quarterback anyway here at Houston. We're going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's the best wide receiver in the draft. So.
Okay,
Attaboy.
There you go.
Smith and Jigba goes 12th to
Ohio
the Texans.
State receiver, a junior, 6'1", 200 pounds, Ben.
Again, I still think that I think it's a fine pick. It's a good pick. I mean, get some weapons. If I agree with Cinny as well. He makes a really compelling argument. If you are gonna position yourself to make a run at Caleb Williams next year, which a lot of other teams will, build up everything around the support system around, whether it's wide receiver, whether again it's Paris Johnson, then the offensive line. Look, you may not need a left tackle, but Paris Johnson could play guard as well. He's a mauling type of guy. He only played 1 year at left tackle anyway, so he could have some position flexibility. Just get one of the biggest mauling, meanest guys on the field to play on the offensive line to protect potentially Caleb Williams next year. So that could have been a pick as well.
Charge?
Best part about taking Jackson Smith and Jigba here is it's one pick before the Packers, and they want him. Yeah, snipe the Packers, baby.
Everybody thinks the Packers are going to draft a wide receiver just to troll Aaron Rodgers. Let's see if Sinekin agrees. Pick 13, the Packers.
Why would we want to troll a guy who says that he couldn't reach the Packers because he didn't have good cell service in his house?
How about that?
We want to come right back and take a receiver for the first time in 21 years. Yeah, that sound you heard was Goody's heartbreaking. The little move from 15 to 13 was to maybe give them a shot to jump New England and get Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's why when Ben said the Eagles might be in play to trade, I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay says, we'll give you pick 78. You drop down to 13, get your running back there. It sounds like better value. Anyway, we'll go up to 10, get ahead of Tennessee and Houston and grab our Ohio State wide receiver. That's, I think, their number one scenario. My thought was when they made the move to 13, they had 2 guys on their board, they would take it 13. And if either one was not there, they'll trade down and get a tight end later. But one of their 2 guys is still on the board. It's not the wide receiver, but it's a left tackle. David Bakhtiari's in his last season in Green Bay. Josh Nyman's a pending free agent, a right tackle. A year from now, tackle's a big need. Paris Johnson's on the board. That's a luxury pick. Green Bay jumps up and takes Paris Johnson at number 13, secures Jordan Love's blindside protector for the next 10 years. We'll get receiver, tight end at 42 and 45. There'll be good value there. Offense to troll number 12. That's the rule of the day.
Ohio State offensive tackle, junior, 6'6", 310, Charge.
This is absolutely the right pick. Paris Johnson should have been long gone, and it absolutely fills a hole, if not this year, then certainly next year for the Packers. I think Sinekin nailed that selection.
That's a huge bitch.
The 14th pick goes to the New England Patriots in charge.
You guys gave me the Raiders and the Patriots. These are the 2 worst drafting teams of the last decade.
You got skill, baby.
Ugh. I am Bill Belichick. I am the best coach in NFL history. Sure, I'm an ill-tempered ass, but I will remind you that I am also poorly dressed. Going back 6 years, my entire group of draftees have combined for 2 Pro Bowls. One was from my punter, and the other was from a Pro Bowl replacement quarterback. That's it. That's how bad the drafting has been with the Patriots. My Patriots need help at tackle, wideout, cornerback, defensive tackle. And if you get me drunk enough, I'll admit that we need a new quarterback as well. But I can't get myself to stop the Anthony Richardson slide here when we need tackle help desperately. So we're going to go with the best tackle available. Paris Johnson just went. The next best guy is Georgia tackle Broderick Jones. That'll be our selection for the Patriots.
Dan?
He makes a good argument. It's funny because you always think about tight ends with the New England Patriots, and a lot of people love this tight end class. And now if you think that Dalton Kincaid is a guy that can give you pass catching help an ability as a wide receiver, as a tight end. I mean, they just know how to use them. That could be something to look at too, but I'm completely fine with getting a big body up front to protect the offensive line there.
Yeah. One more pick before we break, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's Eric Nordquist.
He's walking to the podium right now.
Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets.
Aaron has told us to keep him upright. And so we're going to do whatever Aaron says. This is his franchise. We are at the mercy of his legacy. We got sniped by Charch and the Patriots, by the way. We loved Broderick Jones. And so we're going to slum it with Darnell Wright, the next best offensive line, because it is all about 12 or number 8 or whatever the hell jersey he's wearing. Thank you.
Offensive tackle senior, 6'6", 335 out of Tennessee.
That's
Dan.
a huge bitch.
I think this is one of those situations we talk about with quarterback. I think this is just absolutely just taking for need. I don't necessarily think that he's worthy of a 15 value in the first round, but look, you got to get what you can get, and he's still a talented player. Probably out of value for me, but you got to do what you got to do. So it's a sound pick.
Right. All right, we go commercial-free the rest of the way. We get to the Vikings at pick 23, but we've gone through 15 picks of the Power Trip mock draft. The rest of it after this on The Fan.
This is the Power Trip mock draft, presented by Red Savoy Pizza
On The Fan.
Where do you find the all-new Mazda CX-90, $500 Luther bonus cash, a great inventory, free oil changes, gas and car wash discounts? Luther Brookdale Mazda, President's Club Award winner 4 years in a row. LutherMazda.com. The only thing we overlook is $694.
If you sleep next to someone who snores loudly at night, it could be a sign of sleep apnea. Gem Sleep is a virtual sleep clinic that offers diagnosis and treatment options that can improve your loved one's sleep. Don't let sleep apnea disrupt your lives any longer. Visit mygemsleep.com today and sleep better tomorrow.
Yo, everybody, it's Ben Lieber for By the Yard. There's nothing better than relaxing with my family on our patio furniture from By the Yard. By the Yard's maintenance-free outdoor furniture is made right here in Minnesota and is backed by a 35-year warranty. And during By the Yard's spring sale, you can save 10% now through May 1st. Shop in-store at By the Yard showrooms in Jordan, Woodbury, and Maple Grove, or just give them a call or shop online at buytheyard.net. That's buytheyard.net. By the Yard, life's better outdoors.
Dave, you've barely touched your scampi.
Everything's gotten dull, Amy. Worn out.
Well, life's not an action movie.
I'm just not excited about it anymore.
Keeping things fresh takes work, Dave.
Oh, I admit it. Once things started sagging, I just gave up.
Sagging?
I can't even look anymore, to be honest.
Oh, you want to be honest? Okay, Dave. There's a French guy in my yoga class who doesn't think I'm sagging.
Hey, Dave, I got this. Hi, Amy, I'm Charles with All Around. I think Dave's talking about your roof siding and deck.
What's going on here?
He wanted to fix up your house, so he called the highest rated exterior contractor.
He did?
It was supposed to be a surprise.
Surprise.
House need a little lift? Go to allaround.com today to spruce up your love nest.
That Charles is awesome.
Yeah, he is. So who's this French guy?
All around. We get it done and we do it great.
Hi, Rubes. It's Tommy Olson for OVO LASIK and Lens. Dr. Lobanoff, Dr. Whiting, and the great team at OVO truly changed my life with LASIK. But they are so much more than that. They can do it all. Tired of contacts and glasses? Get LASIK at OVO. If you've been told you cannot have LASIK, they can implant contact lenses into your eye. It's called EVO at OVO. My mom probably has 50 different pairs of readers around the house. I told her she could get refractive lens exchange called RLE at OVO for no more readers and to prevent cataracts. If you or your parents need to have the lens inside your eye replaced, IOL cataract surgery at OVO is the place to do it. All those different options and the best LASIK price guarantee? There really is nowhere else to go for any vision corrections. Go online to OVOEYE.com to learn more. That's OVOEYE.com.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is your choice of bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, plus small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Break your morning routine and get your $3 breakfast deal today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Stubbornness and riding a motorcycle. That's a bad mix, right? Like refusing to wear a helmet or refusing to observe the speed limit. But then there are the stubborn who refuse to lose control. refuse to take a turn too tightly, and who would never miss out on a rider training course. See, being safely stubborn on a motorcycle is a good thing. Always wear proper gear. Enroll in a rider training program today at motorcyclesafety.org.
A message from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Spring is here, and great deals are in bloom at Park Chrysler Jeep in Burnsville. Now, during the Jeep Celebration event, save on popular Jeep models, like the new 23 Jeep Renegade Limited. Lease for as low as $415 a month. Or take home a 23 Jeep Compass Limited. Leases start at just $398 a month. Or save on the new Jeep Grand Cherokee L Altitude. The room you need for a lease starting at just $498 a month. Check out all the great deals that are popping up now during the Jeep Celebration event, only at Park Chrysler Jeep in Burnsville. Online at parkjeep.com.
Back to the Power Trip Mock Draft on KFAN. Presented by Red Savoy Pizza.
Yes, the wheeling and dealing continues in the other room, even though there are no trades allowed. They're still trying to come up with possible trade scenarios. I love it. They're into it. It's the 69th annual Power Trip Mock Draft, brought to you by our friends at Red Savoy Pizza. So good. Thank you so much, Red Savoy. Up on the clock coming up just momentarily will be Max picking for the Commanders. Everybody ready to go over there, Corey Cove?
Yes, sir. Everybody's ready. Max, you ready? All right, so pick 16 of the Power Trip Mock Draft. The Washington Commanders and Max.
Our lovely company, iHeartMedia, consistently ranks amongst the best companies to work for in the country.
Couldn't agree more. Great point.
In a similar survey conducted for NFL teams, the Commanders ranked dead last.
That is ridiculous.
Management has been pretty inept in terms of the on-the-field product, and even more inept when it comes to the off-the-field scandals. They've got racism, misogyny. If they found a way to insult someone's religion, they'd have a full card in discrimination bingo.
I'm available.
After all the tumult in recent years, they have a new owner and the new offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy coming over from the Kansas City Chiefs. As tempting as it would be for them to grab a new QB for their new coordinator, I think they continue to roll with Sam Howell from last season. They've got a stud wide receiver in Jahan Dotson. Defense is already pretty solid, so I think they beef up the O-line and go with offensive tackle Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma.
Whoa.
Ooh.
There you go. I don't even know if we have anybody, a graphic for him, because that's what Max does. He puts in the research and figures it out. What do you think, Ben?
Well, considering this board right here, if
there he is.
If Richardson is still available, which he is, you've got a guy you just mentioned, Eric Bieniemy. Gee, who was he around his whole career as an offensive coordinator? A guy that just loves to create, that can move around the pocket. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to go there, especially when you've got a guy like Joey Porter Jr. still on the board. You need some cornerback help. If Richardson's there, I would have taken Richardson.
Charge. Oh, there you go.
Have I mentioned I love Max?
I know you.
Max is one of my favorite people
that man.
here.
You love him. You love him.
Yes, but I had Anton Harrison going 32 to Kansas City half a round later. So I think it's a reach right here. And if you're Washington, with all the instability, they've got a quarterback and Anthony Richardson sitting in your lap. Man, I'd have made that move right there.
If you want to be wrong, that's fine.
The Steelers select 17th. We go back to Church.
Well, we really wanted offensive line help, and they've all dried up now. Tackles are gone. Everybody I'd want to take is gone, so we're not going to go that direction. And we're going to go a little bit of really just best player available. Had Pittsburgh not just put a first-round pick into the quarterback position, we would take Anthony Richardson here, but don't want to go back-to-back first-rounders at quarterback. So instead, we're just going to take what we think is the best player available, and it is a position of need for Pittsburgh, defensive tackle. Brian Bruzzi from Clemson. He's a 3 technique, great against the run. He's physical. He jolts. He's a big anchor guy. Not the best pass rusher, but he's my 3 technique. I don't need him to be special there, and they need help at that position anyway. So that's our selection.
Sophomore out of Clemson, 6'5", 305, BN.
Dude, I love Bruzzi. He's one of these, I think, workhorse guys.
Huge dude.
Yeah, he's huge. He could be a 3-down guy for you.
That's a huge
I'm in love with Miles Murphy as well. I think it's whoever you like better. I think in this situation, I would have taken maybe a Miles Murphy over a Bruzzi, but I love Bruzzi too, so not a bad pick for Pittsburgh.
All right, Sauce back on the clock with the Detroit Lions in number 18.
The Detroit Lions have the best offensive line in the NFC North. They are going to have the best defensive line in the NFC North when they select Kalijah Cansey, Pittsburgh defensive tackle, and put him with the second overall pick from last year. And they are going to try and have the best defensive line along with their the corner they took sixth overall. Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh, will be the pick here for the Lions.
6 foot, 280 pounds. That's a huge B word, Ben.
Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the road has been paven for that position from that school to have an undersized interior pass rusher. People love him. He absolutely can be your sub-package rusher. Not going to give you much in the run game, I think, at the next level. But it's all about getting after the quarterback and causing chaos. So I think that's a decent pick right there for the Detroit Lions. And I am going to hate to see that little spark plug on the field.
Charge?
Yeah, I think Sauce nailed it. Defensive line for the Lions makes a ton of sense here. They got one bookend defensive end. They could have also gone defensive end here as well and had the bookends, but defensive tackle makes a ton of sense too. And man, Detroit's turning into a really good team. And I get depressed when we nail their picks here and think about who the Vikings are going to have to go against for the next decade.
All right, pick 19, Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield and Ben Lieber.
You hear that?
Yeah, what's that?
That is them literally sprinting up to the podium to take Anthony Richardson. The quarterback from Florida is going to stay right there in the state of Florida to go to Tampa Bay because they are not going to ride with Baker Mayfield, especially if this guy's on the board. And look, may the best man win for this particular year. Even if Baker seems like he's a little bit more ready this year, he's still going to have Richardson for the next 4 years after that.
6'4", 232 quarterback, sophomore out of Florida. What do you think, Charge?
It could. This is a dream scenario for Tampa. Is if you can get Richardson all the way down at pick 19. You couldn't ask for anything better. Obviously, massive need after Tom Brady's left the team, and it would be a sprint to the podium scenario for sure.
More proof the dust just has to settle. Do you remember right after his workouts, there were people saying, should he go number one? And there were people thinking about 1, 2, 3 for Anthony Richardson. And now it sounds like he's not anywhere near the top 4. We'll find out tonight, but we'll see if he falls this far.
Sauce, how broken is your heart now the quarterbacks are gone?
Well, I mean, I would, if this is the way it went, I would be slightly devastated, but I'm going with what my guy Lieber said. I'm going to stick with what my plan is, and I think they're going to try and find themselves into a quarterback. If Anthony Richardson was there at pick 16, 17, or 18, now you're into where you may not have to give up next year's collateral to get him, and you could probably go to pick 17 where the Steelers could have easily gotten Brian Bazier at pick 23. You move up, maybe you give up pick 87 and you take him. If he is lurking in these picks, I think somebody from back there jumps up to get him, and I wouldn't count the Vikings out.
We're getting closer, guys.
Seahawks 20, Dave Sinekin.
If the board falls this way, Pete Carroll is bouncing off the walls because he's looking to have a new Legion of Boom in Seattle. We've already added Jalen Carter with the 5th pick. Now we want a pass rusher, and our top 3 guys that we thought possibly could still be around are all still there. We got Miles Murphy from Clemson. We got Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. We got Nolan Smith from Georgia. They're all sitting there for us. Pete Carroll says, I know they're all good. I like upside. I like high ceilings. The guy that has the highest ceiling, the guy that's a freak of nature that we can do all kinds of fun stuff with is Nolan Smith, the outside linebacker at Georgia. We'll pair him with Jalen Carter, and we'll have some fun in Seattle watching San Francisco try to move the ball on us. Nolan Smith, Georgia, is our pick at 20.
6'3", 235, senior linebacker out of Georgia, Ben.
Oh, man. I was about to write in Miles Murphy just because you and I were talking, but Cindy, you're great, man. I mean, this is a top evaluation of how you broke that down. He could be the next Micah Parsons. I mean, that is how he's undersized, but so is Micah Parsons. I mean, Micah Parsons. There's a lot of people that thought, out of Penn State, it wasn't the best tape. And can he really be this pass rusher? Can he really be this dominant and cause all this havoc? And he did. I think if Nolan puts on, 10 pounds of man muscle here in the next few years, the dude's going to be a freak.
How excited was Vikings Twitter yesterday when it looked like we got Micah Parsons? And then it just turned out that our new equipment guy's name is Mike Parson. Mike Parson. We'll take it.
What do you think, Charge?
Incredibly fast. I mean, we're talking about a D-end, a rushing D-end who ran a 4.38.
What?
40.
Wow.
That's cornerback speed.
So 235 though. And you're not talking an edge rusher that's 260.
No,
but still, I mean, it's ridiculous.
You're gonna utilize him. The comparison here is Parsons. You'll utilize him like that, where you're gonna line him up all over the field, ask him to do lots of different things, even in coverage, blitzing constantly. I think it's a great pick, and Seattle would be delighted to get Nolan Smith here.
Chargers pick 21. Greg Swedberg.
This board is falling really good for the Vikings, by the way, with all the quarterbacks and all the offensive linemen gone. There's a lot of guys left. Chargers need playmakers at this point. Austin Eckler wants out. It might be a little too early to go get Gibbs. They kind of also need a tight end. But you can get that later. I'll cave in. Let's take Jahmyr Gibbs instead. They need a running back.
Whoa.
Austin Eckler.
There you go. A running back goes to L.A. Ben, your thoughts?
I was, look, it's a toss-up between Jordan Addison or one of these other wide receivers because they are going to need wide receiver there with the Chargers. You've got a couple older wide receivers. You have to look to the future. And if you want to keep your young quarterback around you, that's a whole nother conversation if they can afford him. But, yeah, man, Eckler once out. They absolutely love using Eckler out of the backfield, and Jahmyr Gibbs can give you that and actually get a happy player as opposed to a player that wants out.
Charge, it sounded earlier that you're a huge fan of him.
Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs is amazing. He's Alvin Kamara minus the propensity to punch people in the face. He's explosive. He's elusive, incredibly fast. He's a 3-down back. He catches. He is good at pass protection. He's fantastic. I mean, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know that it'll go this early in a deep running back draft, deepest that I can remember. So I think the Chargers could wait a round and still get their running back. So I didn't have him going here, but I don't have a problem with it either. Austin Eckler, his time is coming to an end there.
All right, one pick before the Vikings. The Ravens at pick 22. And Eric Nordquist.
We don't know what's going on with Lamar. Our team's weird. And nobody runs offense like we do. And Harbaugh loves defense. And you know what? They need defense this time around. And we were sitting back in the green room and we were listening. Ben Lieber just would not shut up about this guy from Clemson. And so we're actually going to pay that off right now. We're going to take Miles Murphy, pass rusher from Clemson, and continue to build on this defense while eventually the offense disintegrates into a mist.
6'5", 275 defensive end, junior out of Clemson, Miles Murphy. Ben.
Freak! Love him. He's a freak. I would love it if the Vikings if they didn't trade up or back or whatever, and they stayed at 23. If the Vikings had a chance to get him, I would absolutely love this pick here. It's too bad that he went one pick ahead. You could also look at Joey Porter Jr. They need cornerback help as well. He'd be on the board still. Big, tall, sturdy, a corner that can play man-to-man out of Penn State. But I'm not going to complain if they get Miles Murphy.
Charge?
Same. It would make sense, and it works out well for the Vikings. Vikings need cornerback help, and this leaves two premier cornerbacks on the clock for Minnesota coming up next.
Well, that's great. Again, thank you all, guys, for going through it as well as you did and as quickly as you did, because we wanted to leave a little extra time, obviously, for not only Paul Allen to pick for the Vikings, but to break down what we think not only will happen with our mock draft here, but what will really happen in reality. So let's bring him to the podium in regards to what has happened in our mock draft. Paul Allen.
Does anybody know where the hell he is?
For the Minnesota Vikings. He's not in that room.
I don't know where he is.
No, and Nordo's just shrugging his shoulders. Nobody knows where PA is. Rosie, do your best PA impression.
Can I tell you about the time the PA had food poisoning up in the booth at Lambeau Field, and then program director Doug Westerman grabbed me and said, "Can you do play-by-play tonight?" I went, "Okay." And then PA made a remarkable recovery. There he is.
That is the way.
Oh, that was not him. I kind of like the way this thing is going. I'm as far as the Viking situation, listening to Kwesi, and a year ago we know what happened. They moved on a couple times. He said a couple times, it kind of stuck in my head about quality over quantity. And that I'm wondering, and all I kept thinking about is that Giants game, the playoff game, how wired that U.S. Bank Stadium was. And after watching this defense last year, collapse any number of times, even though they won 13 games, I can't help but think the Vikings and Lieber just talked about the kid, the Clemson kid, whether they're from Clemson or Georgia, you get that kind of pedigree. If they don't take a defensive player in the first round, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know how they get better. Lewis Seen's not going to save the day. They need help up front. Watching Daniel Jones slice and dice this team up last year, and a home playoff game should be enough to remind everyone over there at TCO.
Rosie, don't laugh at
that
Rosie.
The Vikings need defensive help. End of story. This year, if they want to be competitive this year, got to get a defensive player.
Do we need somebody on the edge to slow down Jordan Love? Are they drafting specifically to scheme against Jordan?
I think Jordan Love will slow down Jordan Love. But that's just me.
Say that to Stinny's face.
So let me just throw this out there. So for all the rumors that have swirled around about what the Vikings may do here, think about this: the way this board has fallen for the Vikings. You have basically every wide receiver available, outside of Njigba.
Yep.
You have Joey Porter Jr., who was not necessarily on the list to be available in a lot of mock drafts. You still have Deonte Banks, who a lot of people have mocked. Cam Smith is also there, cornerback. You also have now Lucas Van Ness, who
Iowa kid.
Iowa kid. I've seen a lot of mock drafts that he's already been taken.
What position is he? I'm sorry.
He's an edge defensive line guy.
Okay.
He's also available as well. So the way this is shaping out, now all of the quarterbacks are gone that we think. I mean, I can't imagine there being another quarterback taken in the first round. But you've got a lot of different options here for the Vikings given this particular mock draft.
All right, picking 23rd for the Minnesota Vikings, the voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen.
Sorry we're late. When we were working on a deal with the Lions at 18 for Richardson.
Calm down.
It fell through, so therefore we know what Ben did. Then after that, Kalijah Cansey was slipping to a place where I actually thought we'd be able to get him, which as the mock draft would go, I think it would fall that way. But then Sauce took Kalijah Cansey. So with that said, as the mock draft goes, we're kind of splitting between Brian Brees, defensive tackle from Clemson.
Brizzy's gone.
Thank you. Joey Porter Jr. Is somebody who would intrigue us. Bosberg with that Alabama running back pick, just that's a key pick in this mock draft. And when I get to what I think the Vikings will do this evening, he's going to be tied into it. But for the sake of the draft, Joey Porter Jr., cornerback Penn State. Joey Porter Jr., cornerback Penn State.
All right.
Any analysis, or should I get under the
Ben Charge?
Yeah, I mean, given what I just laid out as far as who's available, I think that he's a better value than Lucas Van Ness. Right. If Porter is not there and Van Ness is still there, then I would have maybe leaned towards the defensive line help, because I always think that you build up your defensive line to help your cornerbacks out. But I think Porter is way too good of a player, especially in this man coverage scheme, to pass on.
Now, with Charge, do you offer up an opinion?
No, I love Porter. I don't think he's likely to fall this far in real life, but if he does, great opportunity to take a physical press man athlete who would fit perfectly into this new Vikings defense. So that would be the pick for me as well if they fell this way.
We were not allowing trades here.
Yeah.
I mean,
we are.
But this is under this circumstance, they'd be insane if they didn't trade down.
Well,
I mean, they need more. They need a lot more picks.
I mean, truly, I believe off what Ben Gessling put in his Star Tribune mock draft, Vikings moving up to 11 for Anthony Richardson. I mean, I'm not going to put a percentage on it, but it's not a zero. It's not a zero that they have intentions to eyeball Richardson and see where he falls. So as this mock draft went, I believe the team does like all three of those quarterbacks outside of Levis, maybe. So that would be a long shot, but it's not a zero shot in my opinion. Now, this evening with
Talk
23.
reality, yeah.
With 23, accumulating picks, amassing picks, like Bossberg just said, like a lot of us have said, power trip 9 to noon and so on. I do believe that will be the play this evening. I believe they will trade back. I believe Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs is somebody to keep your eyes on this evening. Bijan Robinson, he's a big upright running back, and he's going to be a wonderful, wonderful player in the NFL. He might end up, Bijan Robinson might end up being the best overall pick in the entire draft if he gets into the right offense and it works out the right way, because he doesn't drop passes either. Now, this Gibbs is getting lost in the shadow of him because he's diminutive. I mean, his work catching the ball and his quick twitch making people miss in the flat is unbelievable.
It's sick.
And he can run between the tackles despite being a smaller guy. So obviously you got Dalvin still on roster. We'll see what happens there. But a trade back to amass picks and then find a pass rusher or this Alabama running back, I believe that's what's going to take place tonight. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they traded back multiple times and did not have a pick tonight. So be ready for that.
You are
Wow. Holy moly.
That'll go over well at the draft party.
Bouncing up and down with joy. Thank you.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, your Gibbs pick was unbelievable.
No, take a look at the Vikings roster now. It's not full. They have so many holes, and we keep talking about, well, we're sure excited to trade up. You don't have enough guys to cover what you have now.
Right.
And
agreed.
And to be honest,
However,
people talk about trading Cook and people talk about trading Zadarius Smith.
Yeah.
Who's going to give you anything for those things?
Right, but as an ancillary piece along with picks, it may be something to get you over the hump. So, I mean, we're going to get into this today with Nacho at 10 o'clock. There was a potential deal with Kirk Cousins. Okay, it was the team that I believe, according to reports, who said we want to wait. Wow. Okay, well, here's the draft. So if you're waiting and you don't identify the future quarterback, are you sure Kirk's going to say, cool? Are you sure Kirk's going to say, well, yeah, I'm 100% your quarterback next year. Let's do that deal. When it gives him the first opportunity or a rare opportunity to become unrestricted and get himself maybe nearing the end of his career to exactly where he wants. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying you run the risk when there is a deal that potentially could be there. You opt against it. Now we have 4-ish, 5-ish quarterbacks who could be in play. And if you don't get one, then you just got to hope things work out with Kirk, at least for the near future.
Okay, so I think, wow, that's a lot there. It would be really interesting to see what happens if that is totally the case, where that was a really serious trade. The point I was going to make is everybody's talking about moving down. Now, I know that in our particular exercise here, we did not have any trades. So we did not see how the draft board was going to fall. People just leveraging their futures to go up to get particular guys. But if the draft falls relatively the way this has fallen, my concern is these teams below us that would be willing to trade down, meaning that they want to trade up to go to leapfrog to get something that they can snipe somebody else.
Yeah, we don't have enough.
No. I'm not so sure the draft, the way this has fallen, that there are particular guys where you're like, oh my gosh, we have to give up something to get above another team.
But
the only run that you could possibly see is a run on wide receivers later in this draft. So you have to find a dance partner that's willing to give up something for a Jordan Addison, for a Zay Flowers, for a Quentin Johnston, or a Hyatt.
Right.
If you really think that those guys, there is big separation there, then we'll see how that plays out. My concern is you're not going to have a trade partner to trade back with because the talent and the needs for these teams below us are going to be so close together. They're like, well, okay, if we don't have that guy, we'll just draft this guy.
Right.
Like, we don't need to jump up and take number 23 and give up something else.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern.
Right. And I agree. And Bosberg shared that with me earlier. I think it's legitimate, but there's going to have to be a certain player available at 23 that merits a selection there, or they may need to trade back and not get exactly the value that you would think you would get from 23. Because I just don't see them taking a guy just to take a guy at 23, unless it's somebody who they think can come in and make an immediate impact. So this is a very unpredictable draft. I do believe, because I've caught wind of this from other people during the course of the week, Richardson is steaming. It's a lot of teams are trying to figure out where do we want to take him, when do we want to use him, because there is unbelievable superstar potential in this smart kid. He's a smart kid. He's a scholar of the game, and he obviously is very raw, and you probably don't want to dust him off week one, but that doesn't mean you don't want him in your stable. Personally speaking, I'm not sure Richardson gets out of the top 5. I mean, I think there's a legitimate chance Seattle takes him at 5.
Yep.
I wouldn't say legitimate. I'd say 60-ish%, closer to 50-50. But if he doesn't go there, and off what Ben just said, I mean, the Vikings truly seem to be the last team at 23 who might be interested in a quarterback. I think there are 10 in front of them. I'm with you on Desmond Ridder. I like him. I am believing in him, and now, so look at Atlanta. If you have Richardson on that fast surface with Kyle Pitts, Cordero Patterson running, and the rest of your picks, you're onto something. I mean, you finally got a little something going there. So that's the way I see it right now.
Oof. Charge?
Lots of stuff to unpack there. Jahmyr Gibbs, the fact that you brought his name up out of the blue is interesting to me, PA, because you have a track record of dropping a guy on us Thursday morning of the draft.
Just hopping up and down on him.
That is off radar.
Fosberg almost fired me.
Yeah, that's off radar.
Don't kill the messenger, man.
For Jahmyr Gibbs, if the Vikings want him, you can't really move down, because the problem is Giants at 26 have Saquon on a 1-year deal. Dallas at 27 cut Zeke and have Pollard on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Mixon is totally cooked, and I love Jahmyr Gibbs to Cincinnati. The Saints need to replace Alvin Kamara with a guy who's just like Alvin Kamara.
Right.
And Philadelphia 31 is absolutely in play after getting rid of Miles Sanders.
That could be 23.
So if the Vikings want Jahmyr Gibbs, they don't have the luxury of trading down, is what I'm saying.
Now, lastly, because I don't want to kill all your time, the Gonzalez kid, the Oregon cornerback, I mean, I think that's the one of the corners. If somebody's going to trade, maybe not us, because it wouldn't be the Vikings, it would be too far up. But I think that is the Sauce Gardner-esque trade-up guy. That at least that's what I'm hearing. I'm not sitting here trying to be Mel Kiper or Marty Wexler, but I'm saying what I'm hearing is that is the one teams may trade up to get.
One last thing, because you kind of subtly said this about 4 minutes ago, but it caught my ear. You said 3 quarterbacks, but you said not Will Levis. The Vikings are not interested in Will Levis?
You're sneaky. I can't say they're not completely because I'm not a 0 or 100% guy, and neither are you. So I'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Fascinating night.
Thank you.
9 to noon, Charge, Jordan Reed, draft analyst, ESPN, ESPN.com, 9:15. Nachito at 10 o'clock. Alec Lewis from the Athletic in Studio 11. Can't wait.
Thank you.
And Nordo by our side.
Wow.
All
There you
right.
go, guys. I guess we find out in a few hours, huh? Should be a lot of fun.
7:30 tonight. We got you covered all day and all night here on the Fan. That just intrigues me, because if that's the case, and I'm not trying to put PA in a corner, if that's the case, then the Will Levis roller coaster for the Vikings the last 2 months is insane. We heard they absolutely loved him. Then all of the hot steam was he's a total douchebag. He's off their board, right?
Yeah.
Then we heard they might trade up to like 4 because they love Will Levis. And now suddenly it sounds like they're not interested in Will Levis. What is going on with Will Levis Vikings rumors?
Well, I love the draft,
My
man. Thank you
God.
all so much.
The best.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Well
Thanks to
done,
Finnegan,
Zacco
thanks
and
to
AJ, thank
Max
you
and
all.
Swedberg and Charge and PA and Rosie and Zacco for doing all the graphics. Thanks to Red Savoy Pizza.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Brian.
Absolute nonstop draft coverage, I assume, 9 to noon. They're next. See you tomorrow for initials at 8:15.
And casting a silhouette is what we call today.
KFAN Total Traffic.
From the Quick Trip Traffic Center, here's a look at the roads. We've got a big traffic jam on the crosstown westbound from 35W to Highway 100. There's a vehicle fire there To get from 35W to 494 takes 36 minutes. 35W has roadwork delays in Minneapolis in both directions. Traffic is slow in Shakopee on northbound Highway 169 from Old Shakopee Road to Pioneer Trail. That's Traffic on the Fan, sponsored by Wendy's. Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is your choice of bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, plus a small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Break your morning routine and get your $3 breakfast deal today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
952-0-RES. Call them today. Get your carpets cleaned. Maybe you're going to have people over for the draft tonight. Maybe they're going to look at your carpet and go, gross. This is disgusting. Nobody wants to be embarrassed when you have friends or family over or neighbors or your buddies to watch things like the draft. If your carpets need an emergency cleaning, then you call 952-0-RES. If it's a part of spring cleaning, you call 952-0-RES. If it's just general maintenance because you haven't had your carpets cleaned in a long time, you call 952-0-RES. But right now it is their spring flash sale. If you call and mention KFAN, they'll clean 3 rooms of carpet for $129 and throw in a free hallway. And this can be your home, your cabin, your business. What do you need cleaned?